Hi guys, and welcome to another live Ask VT. So I'm Stephen Box, and I'm joined today by my partner in crime, Mark Reed. How you doing today, Mark?
Good evening, hello, welcome to this slightly later version of Ask VT.
Well, we've got to cater, mate, for a wide audience now, you see.
And some of that audience is in America.
That's exactly it. So, Mark, what are we going to be talking about on today's show?
We'll be talking about the tournament we went to this weekend as a team, as a foursome.
As a foursome.
Indeed, Battlefield Birmingham.
Yeah. No, we certainly did. So, give us a little bit of a backstory about the show, mate. About the not the show, the event.
The tournament. So it was the second time I'd been to it.
Yeah.
It was Battlefield Birmingham 15.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's been 14 previous incarnations of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that includes the doubles, actually. I know they do a singles and a doubles.
Yeah.
It was the singles we were at on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And it comprises of 5 games, 3 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday, 2,000 points. You can have Forge World. You can take 3 detachments. It was full beta rules, and there was quite a strong competitive field there, as there usually is.
Yeah. So, this I think is my third Battlefield Birmingham now. Yeah, I think it's my third one. Yeah, and there are, like you said, some top players there. Was there any? So, how did you find the first one that you went to?
It's very similar. I think it's gone up a notch even further for competitiveness, I'll be honest with you, than I was last time.
Yeah.
There's 110 people went to it this time. 110 people went to it last time. So you know, they hire out the Cadbury Club in Birmingham, in Bourneville in Birmingham. It's a great place for it to be held.
Yeah.
Really good sporting event, actually. But the guys that put it on are outstanding. Harry and those guys did a fantastic job. Enjoyed it this time, enjoyed it last time as well. Would definitely go again, 100%.
No, definitely. No, I can't wait to go again. It's one of my favourite events of the year. So we want to know, guys, if you have been, if you played at the weekend, let us know. Where did you play? Did you play against your mates? Were you playing at your local club? Did you play a GT, a major? So yeah. Let us know, guys, in the comments, what have you been playing, because we want to know. And then we can find out how you've been getting on. One of our guys in our team, who's one of our inner circles, Chris Wilson, he had an amazing weekend, didn't he? I can remember him telling us about how he took Space Wolves and went undefeated until the final.
Yeah, that's right. Kathy, if I understand correctly, Chris lives in northwest USA. So I think he lives in Washington State, and I believe that the event was in Portland. So I think it's quite a trek for him. And they also switched it up on the points at the last minute. So it was due to be 2,000 points and ended up being 1,500 points. I think he found out the day before. So
yeah. He's actually just typed in the comments, which I can bring up. It's Winter Warzone RTT. He came second. So
outstanding.
Amazing, yeah. With all of our guys that are on our mentorship program at the moment, essentially our goal is to get to everybody by the end of the season a 3-2 win, and also come in that top sort of half, or hopefully even top 10. We don't know. So Chris is already one of our top players, and representing Vanguard Tactics phenomenally. So some great scores on the board already. Who else have we got in the chat here? We've got Smiley Earwood, we've got Ian James, we've got Sam H again, obviously from our mentorship program. We've got Down Under Blunder. How you doing, mate? We've got Dale, we've got Alex, we've got Daniel Johns, we've got Jared. So Adam Trotter, who is a good friend of mine and who also is with Glasshammer, who obviously sponsor myself and this channel. So Adam, I was at Battlefield Birmingham as well, and a fantastic player. And it is down to Adam, which is where I got my Knight Crest inspiration from. Alex is currently putting some custos together. Regal has got so good evening from Denmark. Dean Macy, who's a top guy that I played a couple of years ago now. And Dean is just painting up some mortars for the ever-ending guard painter. So Sam has got his first ever tournament coming up Sunday. Maelstrom missions. Have we got any tips? Oh, we have got some tips for you today, Sam, because Battlefield Birmingham did include Maelstrom cards, so we'll go over that. So a little bit different to the ITC. So if you're an ITC player, don't just go, oh, they play Maelstrom cards, it'll be rubbish. There is some validity to it. It's not my preferred way, but at the end of the day, you've got to do what's in hand, you know? Not everything's going to go your way. So, yeah, it certainly does make... things a little bit more challenging. Yeah, guys, amazing. Right, so, Mark, where are we starting then, mate?
I think let's talk about some lists.
Okay, cool.
How's that sound? Because we had to sort that out before we got there.
Are we doing what's on our painting table first?
Oh, yes, that's a good idea, actually. Let's start with you, sir. What's on your painting table? Because I believe you might have a big event sometime soon.
I mean, I might have a little event that I'm going to.
Yeah. Small RTT.
Yeah. So this weekend I am competing in the Warhammer World Grand Tournament Final. So, yeah, basically going to go and smash it, win it. Guys, if you're playing in it, second place is up for grabs because first place is coming home with me. Just putting it out there now.
Yeah, that sounds slightly cocky, but let's go with it.
Look, my inspiration is Arnold. Arnold, what he used to do, if you don't know Arnold's story, read it. It's incredible. So Arnold, what he used to do was basically call his mum, right? The competition used to be on the Mr. Olympia competition used to be on the Sunday. He used to call his mum on the Saturday and tell her that he's won it. She'd be like, oh, how did you get on? He's like, yeah, I won today. It was really good. Just become Mr. Olympia for the 5th time. And she's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then he would go the next day and win it.
So what in this story, you're Arnold, I'm Arnold's mum.
Say that again, mate.
So in this story, you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm Arnold's mum.
Yeah, you lot are all Arnold's mum. I'm Arnold. That's how that's how that sort of dynamic's going right now, yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah. Oh God, the chat's going mental. Yeah. Chris Wilson. Confidence is key to success. So, no, definitely. Yep. Adam Trotter says, I know a slow player who will disagree. Well, we won't say anything about that. But, if you have to cheat to win, well, you need to have a good old look in the mirror. That's all I'm going to say. So what is on my painting table, getting back to that, is units of Deathwatch. So I'm just touching them up a bit, sort of adding on, some edge highlights, some more colours, and basically, just making them look a little bit nicer, going back over some basing, going to touch up the old assassins as well, put another sort of few coats on them. I've done an alright job on the old spray, but just some little pick out some of the details, because you do get at Warhammer World, it's not my favourite, I'll be honest. I'd rather it just be down to best general, but there is a sportsmanship vote that you get from your players, and that you play, and then also what you get is a sort of, people can vote for their favourite painted army. So I just want to make sure I can get a few of those votes, because then it will just add to my score at the end of the weekend. So we'll see how I can do. But for me, I'm going to go into this event hoping to go 5-0 and get best general. That's my goal. So if I don't get any favourite games or any painting votes, I'm going with it with the mindset of I want to try and get best general with Deathwatch. That's my goal.
Awesome.
Because I went 4-1 last time. That's what I've got to beat. Obviously the stakes are a little bit higher now, because this isn't just a qualifying event. This is the final. So I'm playing against everyone that came in the top 30 of 4 other events.
So it's going to be a really, really competitive crowd.
Yeah, we got some of the old guys that I already know are going already. You've got like the Tom Layton that I played on our obviously channel, who's a very good player. Mark Grumbleholm, who I played at Battlefield Birmingham, who is in the England development team. Is Dan going as well?
Dan Wright, yeah.
Yeah, very good player.
Also Maxwell, who won the Greenswell Walk tournament, beating Simon Pridis in his dinner plates when he was playing the tower list for the Tiger Sharks.
Because I played him at Clash of the Lions.
Yeah.
With his Eldar Flyers.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good standard. Like Lawrence, obviously from Tabletop Tactics, is going to be there. Yeah. It's going to be naughty.
An all-star cast of a Warhammer who's who for 40k in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some other messages going on in the chat. I'm just sort of seeing what else is going on here. Yeah, guys, some amazing Carl Grundy here. We had a great game at Battlefield we're going to get onto. So, yeah, guys. So, Mark, what have you been painting? What's on your table?
I have literally been painting, just moments ago, this guy, Haldor Icepelt, who's from the Space Wolves Primaris Battle Guard. He is from the Tooth and Claw box set, which I have next to me. And I've saw a tutorial on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to these guys. It's called Big Mech Workshop, and these two guys put up free tutorials. The guys are from Sheffield, and I'm following their tutorial the best I can for this guy. It's a bit of a advanced tutorial, so I'm giving that a go. Basically, Space Wolves. So I'm looking to try and go to the Fun and Fluff tournament that's put on by the London Wargaming Guild, which is in May the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to take Space Wolves to that tournament. So I'm just trying to, I think it's 1,500 points.
Highlander, isn't it? So you can only take one of every option, apart from troops.
Yeah. So I'm going to take one of all the troops as well, just to fluff it up even further. It's 6 games over 2 days. Going to go down with the wife on Friday. I think we're going to go out in London and stuff, on the Saturday night and the Friday and that sort of thing. So I'm painting up ready to go to that and have some fun at that tournament.
Nice. Yeah, good. Chris Wilson, he said he's got a GT this weekend. He's just finished off some Rough Riders. Dominic's got some GSC on the paint table. I want some. Carl Brown's just joined. Alex has said good to call out slow play. No, slow places has no place in this game of any kind. And I'm going to go on to slow play. I think I've got a good friend of ours, Barry. Me and him had a really, really good conversation about it. Okay, because he looks at slow play from a different angle, which I really, really love, and I want to share that with you. So what we'll do is I'll quickly go over that now, and then we'll get on to basically the main sort of event, really. In fact, let's leave this bit because I think it ties in nicely to some other bits we're going to cover. All right. So, Mark, what's next then, mate?
Well, one thing before we move on is that I have been mightily impressed this week with the reveals from Games Workshop on new models.
Oh yeah.
I have posted one on our Instagram account and Facebook, which is the Traitor Commissar.
Mm-hmm.
I love that model. I think it looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And you posted one today as well, which is the some sort of chaos.
Mate, amazing. Yeah.
Those models are absolutely awesome. I've said in a post I'd really, really like to. I'm hoping that the Blackstone Fortress stuff comes out as a box set for Traitor Guardsmen with the Commissar and that sort of thing. I think that'll be perfect for our Chaos armies on our channel we're working on at the minute. Looking forward to getting our hands on them when they come out.
Yeah, definitely. I've got basically 3 Kaitans on order with a one of those guys. Yeah, here we go.
That's it.
Right, so the list, right? What did you run, Mark?
I ran Eldari soup. I ran a battalion of Coven, so 2 Homunculus, 3 sets of Rex, 3 Talos, 6 Grotesques. Man of the match. Come to that, absolutely amazing. Then I ran a Blackheart detachment with 3 Ravagers, 2 Razor Wings, and an Archon. And finally, I ran Craftworld, Beltan Craftworld battalion with Farseer on jetbike, a Warlock on a jetbike, Dire Avengers ×2, and a Guardian bomb with
20 boys.
Yeah, and they did work for me as well. And that was about my list. That was 2,000 points.
So you got Doom in the list, you got Jinx in the list with high maneuverability, you got the Ravagers, you got reroll hits of 1, reroll wounds of 1, you're getting CPs back because of old Blackheart. You've got the Relic in there to reroll your psychic powers. The Farseer can reroll his psychic powers. You can bring the Guardians in from Deep Strike. You've got the stratagem to get them hitting on or they're rerolling 1s because of Beltan, which is fantastic. You can always give them the 4 invulnerable save. You got the survivability from the Talos and the Grotesques, and they're an absolute bully unit. Obviously, you've got the Vect. It's a strong list, mate. Very strong list, and it's one that's evolved over time, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you mentioned you've got a couple of Razor Wings in there as well, so for flyers, so more some shot. It's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. It does a lot of different things. It's got manoeuvrability. It has evolved. I think this is a much better list than I took last time when I went to Battlefield Birmingham. I felt much more confident with it, and I really enjoyed playing it as well. Really enjoyed it.
Nice.
So, what about you, mate?
My list. I love my list. I absolutely love it. So sorry, guys, but it's Deathwatch again. Well, no, it's not really. It's a soup. I'll call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
I got the Watchmaster reroll hits. I've got the Watch Captain jump pack. Power Axe, Stormbolter, deadly combo. Literally only because that's all I had the points for, basically. Don't think there's anything magical about Power Axes. Okay, I got 3 units of Veterans. Okay, so 9-man, Terminator, Vanguard, Bike, and then he comes with Teleport Homer, which I'll come on to later. But I'm a little bit reluctant to talk too much about my tactics, if I'm honest. So I might save that until the weekend after. But yeah, Teleport Homers are in there. And that basically means I can redeploy back to them at any point in the game. So if I need to grab an objective again, back in my own deployment, hop back to it. Pretty handy, right? Then I've got Stormbot Storm Shields like you've all seen before. I've then got an assassin in the list, so 1 CP, play, and obviously I've got the 85 points in reserve to put an assassin in, and I'll go over which assassins I put in, at what point, and what stratagems I use to play the game. Also what we'll do, guys, we'll go over our lists, and we'll go over game by game how we got on, and then we'll finish up with where we finished, and then we can talk about, how we think it all went, any controversy, and all that kind of stuff. So, after that, then, what else have I got? I got the Crass Knight, thanks to old Adam, Crusader, with the Avenger cannon, rapid fire battle cannon, and then the gun on top, that's the twin auto cannon thing, which is good against flyers, quite handy. And also gives you 4 shots, so I like 4 shots, better than D6, because I only roll once. So then I've also got a Company Commander, with Old Grudges, Warlord trait, and I've got 2 tank commanders with battle cannons and also las cannons of the old Catachan variety. And then I've got 30 units of guard. For me, it is, oh my god, it's such a great list. I love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
Whether I played it correctly, different story, but I really like the list. Or that's what I thought anyway, before I went into this.
Good. Happy days.
So how did your first game go, Mark? Who did you play?
So first game, I was up against a guy called Brett, and he was running an elite craft world army. So I'm not totally I'm not exact on which units there were. I don't know if they're like the small wraith guys with the weapons that are
Blades, wraith blades
with D6 damage. So he must have had, like, I don't know, 30 of those guys in his army.
Were they guns, yes? At like 12-inch range?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Okay, wraith cannons, yeah. So one shot, strength 8 or 10, D6 damage, yeah.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a ton of those guys, and then he's also got a lot of psychic as well. He's got the Warlock, like the heavy support choice with I think it's the Wraith Seer.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a couple of those. So he's not got that many models, but he had some potent firepower. Some really potent firepower. So when I saw his army, I thought, if I can utilise my psychic well, shield with the Grots and the Talos, and I can doom and jinx, and I'll basically just try and start at basically one side of the board and wipe him out from one side to the other. And
just a quick one, guys. Mark is talking about Dark Eldar here when he says grots. When he's shielding he's talking about grotesques, not grots. We've had some people in the chat, Mark, saying, "Are you talking about orcs?"
No, definitely not.
So Mark needs to speak properly. He is northern, and there's a bit of a language problem there, guys. Okay, so we need to bear with him. English is not Mark's first language.
Just think, if you were next to me, now I could hurt you. You're lucky you're on the other side of the internet.
I'd just be like, "Oh, chips, cheese and gravy." You'd be like, "What's that, Steve?" "Yeah, I'll be your friend."
All over that. Thanks a lot. Pint of bitter. Grotesques was what I meant. Grotesques were absolutely fantastic for me all throughout Battlefield Birmingham. They soak up so much DACA, it is unbelievable. With the homunculus behind, they're toughness 6, they've got 4 wounds, they've got a feel no pain. You put them with the Talos behind them, and they really soak up a lot of pain. So basically, I tabled the guy in, I think it was turn 4, and I'd managed to get plenty of objectives, and I won, I think it was 40-5. Nice. 40-5 or 40-3, I think it was, in the end. So big. It was a major victory, yeah.
Very major.
That actually put me into 6th position after the first game.
Decent.
Yeah.
That's quality.
Which concerned me, because I thought something nasty is going to come my way next.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah. So I played, my first game was against a lovely guy called Liam.
Yeah.
Liam had a Nid, and so he had Kraken, 60 Gene Stealers, Swarm Lord, so they're moving 3d6, picking the highest, advancing twice, like double moving from the Swarm Lord, so much speed, right? He also had Gene Stealer Cole with the old Magus and other characters in ones that drop down. They shoot you with a pistol, they kill you, you shoot again. Some crazy shenanigans. And then some Blood Brothers on the backfield and stuff. Anyway, I was like, what do I do here? Dawn of War deployment, not good. He's very close, can't really hide anywhere. So I just went all out. And I basically went all of my veterans in one big, massive block in the middle. Basically, like, come at me, bro. Watchmaster in the middle. I also had 3 units, 3 bikes as well in the squad as well. They're quality. Anyway, we'll come on to bikes later. So I got my 3 units of veterans. Literally, I was just boom in the middle, put all my guard on the very outskirts, put my knight behind my death watch, and I went first. And I just opened up with so many bolter shots, because I just put everyone in range. I just went real aggressive, because I was like, he's going to hit me regardless, so I may as well make him hit the unit I want him to hit. I had the Colexus Assassin that I went for, because she gives the old -2 to cast, so as his characters are coming forward. He also had the spell that can basically kill a knight in one go, because they modify your leadership, they buff their own, and they just beat you every single time on a roll. So I just needed to shut that power down, otherwise I'm going to lose my knight straight away. So yeah, I took off, I killed 40 Gene Stealers turn 1. Out of 60, it's massive. Like, that's 400 points gone of his army. I also killed the character because all of his screen was gone, and I just used my tank commander to basically snipe a character because it was the closest model. Took the old, I'm going to one-shot your knight off the board, so I'm pretty safe and sound then. See, then retaliates, Gene Stealer unit comes in, kills my bikes, bounces off a unit of Deathwatch. I then table him basically by turn 3. So, or, like all the important stuff like the Swarm Lord. I've then just got to chase his Battle Brothers, and I win that game 41-11. But me and Liam, I actually voted Liam one of my best games because he was just such a great opponent, so sporting as well. And like, I did feel a little bit bad, but we had such a good laugh and had a great game. So yeah, it's wicked. So then obviously I'm going to my next game with another fierce opponent. So what did you play next?
I played a guy called Liam Royal. I'll just give him a bit of a shout out. He runs some events at Big, which is Bristol International Gaming. You and I played there before.
Mm-hmm.
Great little place.
So I played Liam last year at last Battlefield Birmingham. I played him in the final round 5.
Really good guy. He was running Dark Eldar and Craft World, and he ran 9 Talos and 4 Flyers.
Nice.
We rolled off, and I won the place in the objectives, which is not good actually. And this was the first time this happened to me. It happened to me 3 other times when I was there in the other games. So if you are the one that loses, the way you place your objectives, you place your final objective, you load the final objective in the half where you want to be, and then you get to pick the deployment. So you're going to roll on the deployment table, and you're going to be able to be on 3 objectives pretty much.
Yeah.
So especially we were re-rolling 1 and 4 on the table for the deployment because those were the rules of the event. Yeah. So because obviously you can't have everybody doing Dawn of War, that sort of thing.
Hammer and Anvil, you mean? Yeah.
Hammer and Anvil, sorry. So you had to re-roll it and then take the decision. So that happened to me that time, and he then got first turn as well, and basically his board control was I really couldn't shift it, so I struggled against him. My tactic was to run away, and wanted to preserve the Ravagers because I know that the Talos have got the haywire cannons. He had 9 double haywires as well. If he'd have been in range of the Ravagers, it would have ended them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what I did was I just tried to take out a unit of Talos at a time, a unit of 3 each time, and we ended up in the game. He was scoring way better than I was because I just couldn't get on the 8 objectives that I got cards for.
Yeah.
And at the end of the game, I managed to snatch 10 points. He had 16. I'd got rid of all the Talos, but we still had 4 Flyers left. I still had the 3 Ravagers left as well. We went to turn 5, and then that was a game. So it was a loss for me, but it ended up being not a crushing loss, but a minor loss.
What do you think happens if that game goes on another turn, Mark, or another turn to turn 7?
I've still got Doom. I've still got Jinx. I can utilise those on the Flyers, but the war was already won, if you like, because he'd already amassed the because of his board control and going first and placing those 3 objectives.
But that mission, what I'm saying, Mark, I don't know how much he had left, but that mission was end game scoring. So obviously, if you take all his units off the board, then if you've got a lot left, then you can win that game through end game. But
yeah, sure. I didn't have many troops left though, and the planes would have got rid of the Ravagers.
Yeah.
The bikes were very useful actually. So I basically scooted the bikes in because I went second. I got the chance to knock him off 2 objectives.
Yeah, nice.
So that's where my points came from at the end. So he was a brilliant guy to play, a fantastic club, but what I would say was, I said this to him, I went, playing Dark Eldar, there's a lot of dice, isn't there? I said, they're horrible.
Yeah.
I play them. So I said, I feel for my opponent now, because there's just, disintegrator cannon shots, poison shots, a haywire, all the rest of it. He seemed like he was shooting forever. So unfortunately, game 2 was a loss for me.
So I played against Marcus. And Marcus is a very, very good player, one of the top guys in the England development team for the ETC. And he ran a Castellan, a Crusader, a Gallant or whatever it is. I think he had a Crusader, Avenger, and a Fist. If Adam's watching, he'll be able to tell us which one that is. Maybe it's a Paladin or something. And then he's got some mortars, some unit of infantry, unit of scions, and then also some admech. Okay, so you can give the canticles to the knights, and also a little bit more kind of troops. So he's running double battalion, a lot of CPs, and obviously a lot of big knights. And he goes first. His Castellan kills my tank commander, or one of, and absolutely batters another one. So basically I've got a bracketed tank commander on his last bracket. I've got one tank commander down, and my knights already took some damage. But I retaliate, and I retaliate well, and I kill his Castellan in a turn with my damaged firepower. He then advances up. I screen block his knight from moving, or his two knights. I get hit in combat, but it's okay. And basically, what I do is I redeploy all my stuff in his objective. I kill all his mortars, I kill all his guardsmen, I kill all his admech. But I really whiffed with my knight turn 2, and I didn't kill his crusader. That was so big, not doing that. But it was on me, because I was in a situation where I could have shot him. I could have moved so I can shoot him and then charge him to finish him off. Or I play defensively, bring my knight back, shoot and hopefully kill him with my tank commander, and then I don't get killed by his next knight in retaliation, because that's what I'm basically going to do. I'm going to swap my queen for his queen.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, if I had to play defensively here, he's unlikely to kill me in the retaliation, because I've still got loads of CPs, iron, bulwark and all that sort of stuff. But that was my biggest mistake in that game. Going second was massive. Okay, I didn't choose to go second. I wanted to go second. I wanted to go first. Obviously, if I kill his Castellan like I did in first turn, he then doesn't kill my tank commander, and I hopefully go on to win that game. I gave Marcus a really good game, and we did it. It was really, really enjoyable, but I ended up with a crushing loss, because unfortunately, I cleared him off my objective, and he had cleared me off his, because I had to redeploy my stuff to keep it safe, and I was just basically just trying to score points. But my objective, unfortunately, was worth 4 and his was worth 1. So that switch changed up quite a lot of points. But yeah, if my turn 2 had gone a little bit differently, maybe I should have committed my knight to his knight, killed his knight off, then lost my knight in return. He'd have only had one knight to kill me back. So Adam's just replied, Marcus runs a warden, that's what it's called. Yeah. With the fist. So he's got the fist and the Avenger cannon. He's got the Castellan and the Crusader. So what I should have done was just basically gone, look, I'm going to lose my knight this turn. I should have hit the Crusader as hard as I can in the firepower, finished him off with the combat phase, and then just accepted that the Warden was going to kill him next turn. That's what I should have done. But anyway, you live and learn. So I've had a crushing win so far and a crushing loss, and you're the same, right?
Yep.
So your turn 3 is your game 3 is what?
Game 3, I play the man, the myth, the legend, Barry Rumming, who came with us. Barry
is a top guy, really good friend of mine. So yeah, he runs AdMech.
Yeah, we're hoping to get him on the channel. So we're hoping to get this very list on the channel, because I think that it's more fierce than I expected. Yeah. So
I've been helping Barry with his list.
Yes.
Because he also runs a knight now.
Yeah. I've played that list before, but it was Index.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was obviously slightly different. So we set up for game 3. I was really chuffed to be playing with Barry, because he's an awesome bloke. I love it when I play with my mates as well, even if you go to a tournament, you know. Apart from you and your Death Watch, I would give that a swerve, thanks. So I was really chuffed about that. We got into the game. I seized on him. And then I thought, right, I'm taking that knight down, turn 1. Jinx doesn't go off, but Doom does. It made a difference. I vected the rotate iron shields. He had Crusader. Obviously, you helped him with that as well. And he said to me, "What's vect?" I said, "Barry, you run Dark Eldar. Surely this is the first thing you should know in that Codex. It's the best bit of kit ever." So he's got 4 up save, and I struggled, and I think I left him on 9 wounds.
See, we spoke about this at the end, didn't we?
We did.
That was your biggest mistake in that game, was trying to kill that knight turn 1. You saw red mark. You took the bait. You took the bait mark.
I'm obsessed. We're trying to get rid of knights turn 1.
Basically, Barry has got 3 Doom Crawlers in that list. He's got 4 big Castellan robots, not the big knight, the AdMech robots.
1950s looking robot things, yeah.
Yeah, he's then also got like 20 to 30 Electro Priests that have basically got, like, they roll a 6 and it's like multiple hits or something. Amazing. And then loads of like little troopy boys as well. So, and he's got Crawl in there so he can re-roll all his misses.
So what happened? We got the pointy Dawn of War deployment, and then right at the back in the centre, he's castled up. He's got his 3 Doom Crawlers at the back. He's got Cole sat in front of him. He's screened brilliantly.
Yeah.
He's got the Electro Priest. He's got the 1950s robots. And then he's got the knight over to his left-hand side on the flank, willing and able for me to get at him. So I try to get there. I only take 9 wounds off him. He pays 1 CP in his first turn for it to operate on his full bracket, and then he does plenty of damage. So he takes a flyer out, we delete Ravager, and then takes some grots out. All 3 callous at the point in the middle of the board, and then he moves his Electro Priest up. But he was rolling, his shooting phase, I think, went on for about an hour. The shots were incredible. It was just the robots. He was like, "Oh, I've got 18 shots with this one, 18 shots with this one." Cole's near him. He's re-rolling 6s. He's getting extra hit, or re-rolling. He's getting extra hits on 6s. Those, I had nightmares about them. Orange dice he's got in the evening.
Talking of dice, Vanguard Tactics dice coming soon.
Do you want some?
Guys, I want to know if you're watching live, or if you're watching this back, if you would like some Vanguard Tactics stash. So we've got hoodies, we've got sweatpants, and we've got t-shirts, and we've got players' vests. If you would like some stash, put it in the comment section now. I want stash. And then what we'll do is basically find a way of getting an order form out to you guys, and you can put an order in for Vanguard Tactics, and you can obviously represent the channel. And also we're going to be looking to getting some cool, sexy dice as well. So if you're interested in getting some stash, please just pop it in the comments, and then if there's enough interest on it all, then I'll see what I can do. Mark, Tom Layton has asked, which side of Yorkshire?
I am from Lancashire. I'm from Burnley.
Lancashire, Burnley. That doesn't mean anything to me, but...
Where's Tom from? Tom's from Sheffield, I think, is he?
I'm not sure. Tom, where are you from? And Tom, are you going this weekend? He'll reply, I'm sure.
Okay.
Down Under Blunder wants stash.
Awesome.
Ian James says he wants stash. Alex says, of course, there are tank tops. Yep, nice. Chris says, all the stash. Yep, cool. Right, guys... I'll be putting this out on our email list. We'll be getting an order form for our email list. So head on over to www.vanguardtactics.com. I nearly said Teambox then. Teambox is my other nutrition business. I did a podcast earlier today, so I've got it already. www.teambox. Anyway, so go to vanguardtactics.com and sign up on our email list, and I'll get you over that. Tom said, I am, but lost half my army though because the guy I'm borrowing it off is ill. Well, Tom, if you need anything, mate, if it's Eldar related, let me know because I can bring it for you.
Yeah, Dakari or whatever.
And if you're running any Dakari, I'll nick it off Mark. So, Tom, if you need any models, mate, that you know that I might have, let me know and I'll lend it to you for the weekend. If that helps you out at all. Don't panic.
So, as I was saying about the AdMech, it was a way tougher list than I expected. There was so much DACA in it. I underestimated the list. I got the target priority wrong. I'd like to have another crack at it on another day.
Ended in a draw, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a draw. Yeah.
Nice. No, so, I can't wait to start collecting AdMech because I think it's a saucy looking list.
So game for you, mate. How did you get on?
So game 3, I get drawn against Mark Crumblehome, another England veteran. And he was running not one Castellan, 2 Castellans, and a Gallant, the combat one. So I'm like, oh great, here we go again. But this time I go first. This time I go first. And I'm in a situation, I'm like, right, I've got a Castellan to kill. I've got another Castellan to kill. And then I've got this combat monstrosity. The only one I can get in range is the combat knight. And the combat one is not the one I really want to kill. But it was the best decision I made, was not going for the bait. Going for the bait is going on the closest Castellan with a 2-up save, because all of my guns, he's always on a 4-up, because all of my weapons are basically minus 2 AP, okay? So what I do is I hide everything as best as I can, and then I basically spend the entire game shooting my tank commanders, or turn 1, I clear this gallant off the table, with my knight, my 2 tank commanders, and all my veterans. So I put all my veterans on the board, I know my Death Watch are all going to die, so all I do is I sacrifice them, like little lambs, basically. They kill that knight, they take him down. Good first strike for me. He then retaliates and takes my Crass Knight down to 1 wound. He does everything he can, but doesn't quite kill him. I then fire him back up to full health, and then I take his next Castellan off the table. So by turn 2, I've killed his Castellan and his gallant, and I've just left his warlord alone. And then for the rest of the game, I leave his warlord alone, and I just kill everything else and score the points, and I win the game. So, but me and Mark had a wicked game. I did tell Mark, though, that for 1 CP, he can fire his Vindicare, 1 shot, does D3 mortal wounds, and he could have just took my knight off the table. But I did tell him the next day, because I went through the Assassin's Codex, because I, funny enough, I used a Vindicare day 2, right? Because I used the Calidus in my next 2 games against the Castellans, because obviously it just makes them use their CPs up a little bit more. So I was looking over the rules and I was like, oh my god, Mark could have played this. I'm going to tell him. It's going to break his heart. But I told him anyway. And it was just like, at the end of the day, it's game 3. It's decision fatigue. First time, Mark was the first ever person really to run 9 Talos. And he was like the main, and he's been running that all year. So him taking a new list, he said, look, it happens. You don't know all your rules. And you miss out on those little finer points. But anyway, that's the difference as well between having a good list and a well-practiced list. And that's really important distinguishing to make. So yeah, I think we better speed this up, Mark. Where did you go on to game? So I'm at this point 2 crushing victories and a crushing loss. And you're at a crushing win, a crushing loss, and a draw, right?
A minor loss. Yeah.
Minor loss, sorry. Beg your pardon. So then...
It's important for the end game.
So then, we're on to day 2. It's game 4. What's next?
Sisters for me.
You got sisters, nice.
6 golden tanks. Celestine, Guard, Flagellants, who are awesome, who are in range of a priest, get like 100 attacks or something like that, and they really good. Very, very tasty list. The core of that list are 3 Forge World tanks. With D6, I think it's basically like a las cannon sort of thing.
They're not Forge World, they're just new chapter approved, like basically rules.
For those tanks, because Angus told me they were the tanks themselves were a Forge World unit. Or maybe I got confused with another. I think he had 7 tanks in his list. Yeah,
so basically the tanks that are like they have the pipes on the back, yeah, missiles.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Exorcists they're called. So basically they're D6 shots. Their strength 8, I think, or 9 or 10, something like that. It's a good strength to it, and then they're basically D6 damage. But they're quite. You can get them to hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. But it costs a lot of CPs to do so. What he might have had was a transport vehicle that is a Forge World unit where his girls can fire out of.
That's exactly what he had, actually.
They're the Forge World ones. And I think they're called a Repulsor, I think. Yeah.
That's the Primaris tank, I think, isn't it?
I think it's the same name.
Anyway, so, like you say, you can get him to hit on 2s, but it's 3 CP. I've acted that. So he was hitting on 3s. He was re-rolling with Celestine. He had a 4-up invulnerable save for those 3 tanks, sat them together. Mm-hmm. We had, I think, again, Dawn of War deployment. He'd done the same trick again with placing more objectives in his own half and then choosing the other side. he was a great guy and was a brilliant opponent. And he was saying to me stuff like, "Do you really want to do that?" You know, he was helping me out. What a wonderful chap he was. I took the chance. The way it was, where I was stood at the back with the donor war deployment, and my right hand side had an objective there, and he had a tank coming towards me. So the first turn, instead of trying to pile into all the golden pipe tanks at 4 up in Vun, I got stuck into that tank because I knew he was going to come and sit on that objective, kill my troops, and then he would have far greater ball control. That tank blew up. Girls got out, didn't move so far, didn't do so much damage to me, and then I pushed the Talos, pushed the Grots into a big fight in the middle where two objectives were. They held their own for quite a few turns. Angus was incredibly unlucky with his cards. He didn't get any cards at all, not a single one.
Yeah.
And I think that the final score was something like 30 points to 20 to me, or 20 to. I know there's a 10-point difference because he was doing the admin for it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for him, he lost to me. I got a major victory, and it was just the cards really.
Yeah. Nice.
What about you? Game 4?
So I get drawn game 4 against a lovely guy, basically great opponent, and I'm playing Tau. Triple Riptide. Not a nice list. 3 units of like 6 shield drones. He's got units of Kroot for his screen, which are actually really good. He's got some little Kroot guy as well that does like D6 mortal wounds to a unit of 10 or more models, right? It's like 20 points. It's like the Black Fortress little Kroot boy. I told Jack he needs to get one. It's amazing. Can deep strikes, pretty cool character. And he's also got then 3 broadsides with the old missile pods on. So yeah, I go first. And basically just kill screen, just kill chaff. That's all I do. Just kill chaff. That's all I tried to do. Turn 1. And then basically used as much as my firepower as possible. So when you play Tau, what you need to do is 2 things. You need to understand what's going to hurt them most, and that is my Deathwatch at close range, right? So what I do is basically with single damage shots, you kill the shield drones. With multiple damage shots, you put them on a unit. So for example, like the broadsides or the Riptide, okay? He also plays 2 CPs to get +1 save, so he's got a really good save, and most of my stuff is -2 damage, so he's saving pretty well, because his Riptides and Broadsides I think start on a 2 up, so they go to a 1 up, so -2 they're still on a 3 up save. It's really strong. So I just focus on killing the shield drones and killing the chaff, because I'm not really going to do much to his big stuff. My Vindicare whiffs so bad. I think I rolled with her or him over the course of the game 6 1s or 7 1s, because she hits on a 2, wounds on a 2. It's ridiculous. And I rolled a 1 pretty much every time. Anyway, doesn't matter. I did what I needed to do, killed the screen, focused on a unit at a time, take down the broadside, move on, take down the next broadside, move on. And I ended up winning that game with a ridiculous score, because it's end game scoring. I'm on all the objectives. I did ended up tabling my opponent, yeah, we had a really great game. And then I draw domination on the last turn. Excellent. I'm on all 6 objectives. So very, very big score for me. And that shot me straight up. So yeah, really, really good game. So then I'm on, at this point, 3 crushing victories and a crushing loss. And that is a very tough list. Tau are a good list. Like Manny Chima, who is with Glasshammer, recently won an ITC event a couple of weekends ago with his Tau list. Yeah, Tau are good. Like, they really, really are, especially that build. And there's a couple of variations that we'll go on to. So then what was next for you then, Mark? Your final game?
My nemesis. Not the person, but the list.
Okay.
It was a knight with Deathwatch.
Oh, yeah.
I was determined not to be defeated.
Yep.
I've been bullied around by your Deathwatch for long enough now, Stephen. I've had enough of it.
Yeah, but you've learned from the master, mate. You've learned from Yoda when it comes to Deathwatch. You're probably playing like I don't know, some sort of
Apprentice.
Apprentice, yeah.
I played a guy called Steve. He is
Stick
also...
copied my name as well.
There you go, yeah.
What's he done? Just gone, oh, just get your army list, Steve. Didn't even take my name off it.
The difference between your list and his was that he had the Castellan instead of the Crusader.
Error.
So he was running 3 squads of Deathwatch.
Weird.
A Castellan. Also 3 squads of Guard with 2 company commanders.
God, where are they getting these ideas from?
No.
It's like they're printing lists off the internet. I'm jesting, by the way. Steve, if you're watching, fair play to you for watching, so playing some cool Deathwatch.
It was awesome. It was nicely painted stuff. And he'd won 2 and lost 2, so going into the 5th game. We roll the deployment. I can never remember the names of the deployment. It's the triangles in the corners.
Vanguard, mate.
Okay, that's the important one. I'll probably remember that. People will know what I'm talking about, triangles in the corners. So set up, and I'm ready to go first. He's placed his Castellan really at the front of his deployment, and I can't wait to get stuck into him. I see this is a fantastic opportunity. He seizes on me. Okay. I play the trick on him, though, with putting more chips and, objectives into a deployment area, putting 3 in and then choosing that side. So I've done it to me 3 times. I've learned that one. I think that'd be a good one to do a video about for people to be, one of the tactical videos, so that...
well, that didn't happen to me once, Mark, and I'll tell you in a minute why.
Okay. So, he seizes, he deletes a Razor Wing, he deletes a Ravager, puts the second Ravager down onto 6 wounds, so I'm limping already by this point. It then becomes my turn. I get Jinx off, I get Doom off, I then... Avect. Rotate Iron Shields for 3 CP. Avect that. I shoot him with the Haywire, plenty of mortal wounds. He doesn't play the strat, which allows you to get a feel no pain for mortal wounds, which surprises me. I then shoot him with the Ravagers. I shoot him with a Razor Wing, and I take quite a lot of wounds off him. I think he's left on about 9 wounds. I pay for Seer Council. I smite him as well and everything I can. He's got a Calexis, but the Calexis is out of range because I know that the range is 18. And I know that because I played yours on the Friday and it caused me loads of problems. So I managed to get the Psychic off without any issues, and then I've moved the Grotesques behind a building, so I need a 9-inch charge. I get a 9-inch charge and I face no Overwatch because it's out of line of sight. The Grotesques go in and polish him off. And then Castellan, turn 1, gone. So from there, I knew if I just had to get rid of one of those squads of Deathwatch, and we'll have 2 left, and I'd be all right. And basically that's what I did. Progressively over the game, I went to turn 6, rolled for a turn 7, it didn't go on. He had his Watch Captain and a squad of Guard left. I didn't have a great deal, but I was on most of the objectives. I'd scored well, and I think I won by, it was a major victory. I won by about 15 points or something like that. He was a lovely guy. One of the guys from one of the Bristol guys plays down at Big with Liam. And I'm really pleased that, not because I beat him, just because I beat that list, because I've struggled against it, because it's a real counter for the Talos, for the Coven guys. So I was chuffed about that. And so that put me...
We've had a lot of practice against that list, mate.
Sure have, yeah. So that put me on 3 wins, a minor loss, and a draw.
Nice. And you finished what position?
16th.
And where did you finish before that? Last time you did Battlefield Birmingham?
70th.
Wow.
Certainly was a big difference.
Mate, that is what do you think's been the difference in your improvements?
I think we had a discussion about it some months ago, and we came up with a plan. I love a plan, especially because I'm in engineering. I'm a problem solver. So it was a multifaceted plan of play more games, change the list, look at where was I going wrong, get feedback on my games from in our inner circle. Where was I going wrong? I've taken all those bits of feedback from my opponents, from you, and basically the structure that we put in place we said, months ago, this is going to be the decider. Has that worked? And to move up 54 places massively, it really has worked. Basically,
which is exactly why what we've done with you, Mark, is we've replicated that model, and that's what we're doing, obviously, at the moment with the syllabus that we're running our mentorship guys with at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm living proof that if you stick to it, you can do it. I was really, really pleased with 16th. I was over the moon with it. I think, I looked today before, because we were rehearsing the podcast, there's a lot of big names above me, a lot of the England guys, and I only lost to Liam, and he finished third.
Yeah.
With a tough list, so I couldn't be happier with my, how I finished there. Really, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't have asked for more. I was hoping to finish in the top 50 this time, so I've absolutely smashed that. So, awesome, and I just want to say thank you very much to you for all your help.
Oh, mate, that's fine. Right. No, I love it. I love helping people improve and get better, and that's what it's all about. So, guys, if you do want to join the old mentorship program that we're running at the moment, it is currently full, but we probably will be in a couple of months' time opening up that door again for a new intake of mentorship. So if you would like to get on our mentorship program, our next intake, last time places sold within 2 weeks, and basically the goal is you come on the mentorship program for a year, okay, and you stay on it. Obviously we can continue it for longer than that if needed, but essentially we have an intake that is for a year long, and then we basically run that right the way through the season. And you play for Vanguard Tactics through the ITC leagues that we're going to be having, and then also going through the syllabus that we've put together. So if you want to start a little bit later in a couple of months' time, that's okay. You'll just be in a new group altogether, get to know each other, and you'll start the syllabus from day one. Obviously, while the other guys at the moment will continue. So if you do want to join it, send me an email, which is Stephen@VanguardTactics.com, and just say, look, I'm interested in becoming on the mentorship program, and then we can basically pre-sell slots to you guys that are listening all the time, because it's at the end of the day we want to work with you. That you're the guys taking interest in tuning in and everything, and learning from what we're doing at tournaments and the battle reports and everything we're doing like that. So yeah, it'd be fantastic. So my turn 5, my game 5.
Yep.
My game 5. Play against Carl, who's in the chat, and we had a phenomenal game. He plays Tau also. This time, Carl has got double Riptide, and he's also got 2 units of the broadsides with the shooty things, missile pods.
Rail things, are they?
Yeah, so what I do, I go first, put my Death Watch on the front line, and I just shoot all of his shield drones away. 30-inch range on my bolters, stand still, open up. And I get rid of all those shield drones. And again, my Death Watch are probably going to die. They don't really do much for me. So basically, then what I do is I use my tank commanders, who are way out of range. I was on Vanguard Strike as well, so I had really good range with my tank commanders and my knight. And I basically kept my knight and my tank commanders outside at all times of 36-inch range from everything. So because when you play Tau, guys, what you need to do is basically make sure you are out of range, because if they have to move, they can't put on their Callion ability, which means that they can reroll all misses. So what you're forcing them to do is just play Montcar, which means that they can move and shoot without the penalties. But that's not getting all the rerolls, and that's the important thing. So you put them outside of 36 inches, and once they've played Montcar with old Shadow Run, whatever her name is, she can basically Callion twice, but she can only Montcar then Callion. So basically what you're doing is mitigating your chances of getting all her rerolls off. So it's only going to happen maybe just the once. And when it does happen, by that time, hopefully, you've already got rid of a lot of the big threats. And that's exactly what I did. Got rid of the shield drones, and then turn by turn, picked on a unit and killed it. So whether it's a Riptide or a unit of broadsides. And then I just played the mission. Carl made a bit of a ballsy move towards the end. He tried to move block my knight with his little Tau Fire Warriors, and I heroically intervened and killed him. And then he also came onto my objective, hoping to kill off my captain, and put some Fire Warriors to get, because he had that basically drew that card or something, and I heroically intervened into them as well because he didn't quite kill my captain, and he killed all them off. I played 3 CPs, fought again. It's the best 3Ps I spent all game just to kill 2 fire warriors, but means the difference in negating or basically diminishing Carl's chances of scoring points and maximising mine to hold on to points. So yeah, it was another really, really great game, really fantastic, and another win for me. So I ended up in 8th place. I think below or just above me was Malik and also Manichima. So not bad.
So 2 great, really good players there.
Yeah. So this is my 3rd Battlefield Birmingham where I've gone 4. My first one I went 4 wins and a draw. My second one I went 4 wins and a loss, and this one I've just gone 4 wins and a loss. So I just need to get that 5-0 next. I feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it.
So fantastic for such a competitive tournament for you to be finishing. There's 110 people went to that one, 110 people went to the last one. It's a very competitive field, some really, really good players. Jack, who can't make it tonight, he ended up getting Simon Pridis and some horrible tire list, and he got absolutely ripped apart in game 2. I think he would look like he'd finished after half an hour. I think I'd just finished deploying and he seemed to be done. I wondered, had a pint in his hand, feeling sorry for himself.
Yeah.
So really, really good players there who've won a lot of tournaments, played for, the team that won the team, I think were mostly the Welsh lads.
Mm-hmm.
So a fantastic, well done to you for continually to finish so high.
Thanks, mate.
Have you got any tips for the guys? How have you gone about it? It's so being consistent, successful.
Do you know what? My biggest achievement though this year was I got messaged by the TO to say that I had got 5 out of 5 favourite game votes. And that's what I'm most pleased about. So with 4 wins, to still get every opponent that I played to vote me their favourite game, I love it. Like, amazing. Like, that was so humbling when I got told. It was really, really, I just loved it. And I think my biggest tip is what you do at the start of the game. So with every single person I played, I basically had a little spiel that I went over, and it basically started off with, look, I'm really excited to play you, can't wait. I really hope we have a good game. My intention is to have a lot of fun with this game, and also I want a fair result for either one of us. Whoever wins, that's amazing. I just want a fair result. And all my opponents said, yeah, exactly the same. That's what I want. So that set a really nice tone for the game. I also said, if it's okay with you, I'd like to play with a chess clock. I've used a chess clock on all of my games today, and I want to continue to use a chess clock for all of my games. And I explained essentially how the chess clock works. And it basically goes, look, you can take as long as you want on your turn. I don't mind. You use up your resource. Okay? So you won't feel pressure from me to do anything. When you make your decisions, you can take as long as you want, and you can make the key decisions that you need to in your time. Okay? If you run out of time, that's okay. Doesn't mean you lose or anything like that. You can still draw cards, and if you're on the table, you can still score them, but you just won't be able to interact in the game. Okay? And everyone was like, yeah, that's perfectly cool with that. So that went so well. And just brilliant, like a great way to set the tone of the game. One of the things that we did, and I said, look, before we roll this dice to see who wins the roll-off for placing objectives first, I said, whoever wins is actually a loser, okay? Because you could get screwed over by whoever places the last objective. If they roll a lucky draw, then you could be in a bit of a bad position. So I said, how about we do this instead? We place objectives first. We then roll off to see who picks the map and the side. Because then what ended up happening was that we ended up with 6 objectives pretty much evenly spaced across the board. So there was no feel-badsy. And the other thing that I did straight away at the start was, do we want to move any terrain about? Because sometimes when you're playing, terrain gets moved by people once they finish packing up and stuff. Look, do we feel like everything's even? Have we got a good line of sight blocker in the middle? Some ruins either side to hide in? Are they within potentially an objective, a deployment zone? And then if they say, yeah, it looks okay, I'm like, well, how would you feel if you played on this side? Get them round. Actually, yeah, do you know what? That needs to come back there a bit. Okay, cool, I agree. Let's go with that. So you set up the table. We agreed on terrain, what was ruins, what was line of sight blocking, what was a hill, how things would interact. And in that point, really. And that just set a really, really good tone for the rest of the game. And the chess clocks were amazing. Like, genuinely, I won't be playing a game of 40k without a chess clock. And the great thing as well is because I said the same thing to everyone, it's not like I'm picking on someone. I'm not saying, oh, you've got 200 orcs, I want to put a chess clock on you because I think you're going to slow play because you've got a lot of models. No. I'm not putting that judgment on anyone. I'm just saying, look, we're going to have a really good game. You use your time. I'll use my time. You can use all your time up in turn 1, or you can use up all your turns in turn 6 if you want. It's up to you. And so the conversation I had with Barry at the end was, Barry, he's only done 2 tournaments now, and Barry basically said to me he's constantly worried that someone's going to call him a slow player. Barry plays his army every single week. He's not one of these guys that picks a net list off the internet and then runs it next week. They've borrowed it off their mate. They've got no idea how it plays, and they play slow because they've got not a clue what they're doing. They've never tested it. Barry doesn't sit in that camp. And if Barry ever gets a rule wrong, it's not intentionally, it's just him. Like, he doesn't play in tournaments every single week. He plays a couple a year, right? And he just enjoys the game. He plays probably every other week. He's either using his admech or he's using his custodes, and he kind of alternates, right? He's a decent club player, obviously. And I said to him, look, the best thing you can do, Barry, is get yourself a chess clock. Because then, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think they might say. No one's going to call you a slow player if you're using a chess clock and you clock out, because it doesn't matter anymore. And he was like, actually, that's a really fair point, and I think he's going to invest in one. And I just really, really would advocate the use of them. It's something that yourself, Dan, and Jack are all going to get now going forward, because your opponent, if they want to take 10 minutes looking at their rules, they can do it. You're not there going, wish you'd hurry up, because it just feels bad. It's just not nice, but you can't help but do it when you know someone's taking ages. And at the end of the day, you're playing a game. It's not like you wouldn't play football and go, do you know what, mate, I've had this ball for ages and you can't tackle me, so I tell you what, just have it for a bit. No, you don't do it. You play your half. They play their half. You play with your resource, they play with their resource. Time, just like you share, there's an agreed points limit, there's an agreed time limit, and you should get half each. If you're unable to play to the time, then you need to do one of 2 things. Number 1, practice. Number 2, change your list. That's it. Everything that happens in life, you are responsible for. Okay? If you don't finish a game, that is your fault. And that's it. So, if you can't play to the time that you're given, take a different army, or consistently play it until you do. If you're not practicing at home with the chess clock, you can't say that you can play to time. And it's easy just to call your opponent a slow player, or go, oh, they played slow or whatever. It's easy to do that. But unless you really actually know, then you can't make that claim. So use a chess clock. They're there for a reason, and they're absolutely phenomenal. And you will have much better games for it. Just be honest and open. Explain how they work. Explain how it's both fair. Use the same spiel I've just given you, and you'll be set up for much better games. So, with that, I better get back to the paint table, Mark.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before we depart?
Right. Tom's actually just said, good luck. Good idea to prep with the chess clock, especially considering the weekend coming up. It's a good philosophy. No, thank you, Tom. I really appreciate that, mate. As a fantastic player you are, it's really nice to get that sort of feedback as well. So I'm looking forward to catching up. We've got a few questions from our patrons, actually, I think. So we could quickly whiz through these. Question number 1 is from Alex. Question for the live. Heavy bolter / hurricane bolter centurions, worth it or aggressors still better? I was thinking with the banner, G-Man and Apothecary would make a scary clearing unit. Do you know what, Alex? I think I actually spoke about this. I want to test it. I think it's actually really good. I think they're a little bit more survivable than aggressors and still pretty cheap. So definitely, Alex, give it a run and let me know what it's like. You're going to have to play them in 3 different games, though, to see what they're like. But I think no one's going to really bother firing against, essentially they're not really going to bother shooting the Centurions because they're not that high a threat. But I think over the course of the game, they'll really put in work for you. So, yeah, let me know how they go. And then Chris Wilson has said, with a super heavy detachment of Knights, Crusader and 2 Helvins, is Crest still preferable over Raven? Pros and cons. So, Chris, what I'm going to be doing is another video tomorrow for all of our Patreons, and it's how do you play 5 Knights? Basically, how do you play against 5 Knights? And I'll be also covering my opinions on them. I might even get actually get Adam to talk about some Knight stuff as well, if Adam's keen for that, Adam Trotter. So Adam, if you're keen to come and talk about some Knights at some point, let us know for the guys, because obviously you know that book better than most people I know, so it'd be really good to get your opinion on them. But tomorrow I'm just going to do a little video on how we can kill them, essentially. Justin has said, how did Belgium go? I don't think we ever heard how it went. I think that's definitely another video, how we did at Belgium. Don't you, Mark?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm going to have to recall my games. And then we've got another question, which is...
Get Manny on for that, possibly. Huh? Might even get Manny on for that.
Yeah. And Adam was in my team as well. So, yeah. And then we've got Martin said, Loyal 32 or Rusty 17. I think it depends. I think in a Knight list, the Rusty 17 is better because the mechanicals can be put over to the Knights, which is really cool when you can heal them and stuff. Whereas the Loyal 32 are just such a great screen and just get such good ball control. And also they get move, which is unreal ability, in my opinion. So, yeah. We've also had someone quickly say, can someone explain to me how chess clocks situation actually works? Sorry if I've misunderstood. Basically, what happens is, if you've got a 3-hour round, you each get an hour and a half. Okay, so you set the chess clock to an hour and a half. And what you'll do is basically, when you're deploying a unit, or you're deploying your entire army, depending on which style you're playing, you just press go on yours. So you're pressing go, your time is ticking down, and then what will happen is, as soon as you finish deploying that unit or your army, you then hit it over and it will start counting down your opponent's time while they do their deployment, and then you'd pause it while you're doing this sort of rolling to see who goes first and all that kind of thing. And then what happens is, as soon as you start your turn, before you draw your cards, you press go, and then your time starts ticking down. But when your opponent is making save rolls, you knock it back over, because obviously if they spend ages rolling save rolls one by one, it could really clock up a lot of time. So that should be on there. Or if they want to think about using a stratagem, you could knock it over for a little bit if they need a few minutes to check their stratagems or whatever, or check their book. So yeah, and basically you get an hour and a half each. You can then allocate time to each turn if you want mentally, as you're working through it. So then do you know what, I'm not going to bother shooting my las pistol turn 3. I'm just going to not bother, and I'm going to save that time, because I could do with an extra 10 seconds at the end of the game just to move on to an objective. So it makes you make better decisions, and it really helps you as a player focus on the difference between what is it you need to do in this game versus what can you do. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it, because that doing something does take time. That is basically expending a resource. What you want to focus on is, what are the biggest things I need to do in this game to score me points and win me this battle? That is it. And chess clocks really help make you become a better, decisive player. So hopefully I've explained that well. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all of our Patreons. Yeah. Anything else, Mark, that I've missed?
I've got a question.
Go on.
There was a comment on our last live that said the sound was really poor, and I need a new microphone. I've got a new microphone. It's plugged in, and I've sat back. Give us a comment to tell me if the sound's okay. I think what we were saying was that we were maybe talking over each other a little bit, and the sound was cutting out when that occurred. So hopefully we've done that a lot less this time. We're keen to get it right so you can hear exactly what we're saying, or exactly what Steve's saying at the very least. There's one final thought I would offer on the tournament that we had. One area for improvement for myself is that the ETC style has got a primary, a secondary and a tertiary. There's a lot of admin, and I really didn't know it well enough. So I was getting to the table and I was spending a little bit of time with my opponent going through it to make sure we really knew what it was. So next time I'm going to make sure I've read the rules pack in full, maybe even get some models out, stick them on the table and go, right, if the objectives are here, what am I going to do? So when I turn up, I'm confident straight away, rather than relying on my opponent to help me out to understand it correctly. Some of it was both of us in some games, you know. Those ETC ones are admin heavy. So a tip for anybody, I'm going to take it myself, is have a thorough read of the rules pack, you know, a couple of days in advance. Really get confident.
We did a live just on this, didn't we?
Yeah.
How to prepare for a tournament.
Yeah.
But it's one thing that it's all good in practice, but it takes time to do that. So, yeah. Right, guys, and that's great advice, Mark. So if you haven't listened to our How to Prepare for a Tournament, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, they can check it out. So go back and listen to that because we cover some really key topics. And that was me preparing for Belgium. Yeah. Well, guys,
awesome.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a really wicked evening. Wish me the best of luck for the weekend. I'll be trying to update Patreon as best as I can over the course of the weekend, how each of my games are going. You're going to come and watch, aren't you? I think Manny Cheam is going to come and watch me, see how I get on. So we can have a good old support for the old Vanguard Tactics. I'll be in my player's vest, and hopefully I can play on the stream again, because that's where I want to be.
Get some more dice, yeah.
Yeah. Right, mate. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow, Mark.
Yeah, cheers guys, catch you later.
See you, mate, and see you later, guys. Really appreciate it. See you later.